The reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Guess what? Angel Reese claims people watch the WNBA for her too. Yeah, maybe for bloopers, but let's be real. The numbers tell a different story. When Caitlin Clark's on the court, ratings soar. Without her, it's crickets. We're about to expose 20 of Reese's biggest lies caught on tape that make the WNBA wish she was gone. Come on, Angel. You really think you're the main attraction? The ratings don't lie, and they're not exactly singing your praises. While you're out here talking big, Caitlin Clark's busy breaking records and filling seats. Seriously, have you seen the difference in attendance between Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever games?
Caitlin Clark tonight.
Oh, gotta watch number 22.
I've been watching Caitlin for a couple of years, and since then I've dreamed about coming to a game.
But hey, don't take our word for it. We've got the receipts. 20 of them, to be exact. These aren't just little white lies, folks. We're talking whoppers and bloopers that make Pinocchio look like a saint. We're about to expose why the WNBA is probably dreaming of the day Angel Reese decides to take her talents elsewhere. And guess what? They can have her. Before we break it down, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Are you ready? Let's go.
Look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas.
Time to fact check Reese's first two big lies. She says people watch the WNBA for her, has massive impact on her team in the league. But if that's true, why are the Chicago Sky's ratings in the gutter while Caitlin Clark is breaking viewership records left and right? Let's talk numbers, folks. Caitlin Clark's playoff debut, a whopping 1.84 million viewers. And on the second game, it reached a high of 3 million. That's not just good, it's historic. The highest WNBA playoff viewership since 2000. Meanwhile, games without Clark, they're lucky if they crack a million. Game 1 of the Liberty Aces semifinals barely scraped 929,000 viewers. That's a third of what Clark pulled in.
That's jealousy and envy and delusion, all mixed together.
But no one's tuning in to watch Angel Reese. It's just not happening.
And how about the Chicago Sky? Oh wait, they didn't even make the playoffs for the first time in 6 years because their fired head coach was too busy making Reese happy instead of actually winning.
According to league sources, Weatherspoon had lost the locker room because of a culture that catered to the needs of a few players. Dear Lord.
But wait, there's more. Clark's jersey is flying off the shelves, becoming the top-selling rookie jersey in WNBA history. Marketability? Check. Popularity? Double check. And let's not forget about butts in seats. The Chicago Sky's attendance is good enough for, wait for it, a whopping 8,700 fans on average per game. The Indiana Fever, on the other hand, packed houses of at least 17,000 fans in both home and away games. Opponents have to even use larger arenas when the Fever are in town, thanks to Clark's star power. Well, it's very clear people don't watch the WNBA for Angel Reese, and her impact? Massive. She just made her team much worse this year.
I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates.
While Clark's bringing in the crowds, Reese is busy playing the blame game. She even came out saying she's more than happy to be the villain, blaming the media and fans for calling her such. But here's the reality. Who's actually responsible for Reese's villain status? Spoiler alert, it's not the fans nor the media. Let's rewind to that infamous moment when Reese decided to channel her inner John Cena on national TV. Picture this, Reese running around Clark, waving her hand in front of her face like we can't see her. Real classy, right? And then she has the audacity to claim the media painted her as the bad guy. Come on, Angel. You painted that picture yourself and in pretty bold strokes. And yes, we can see you.
After the game, finishing the way she started this season. LSU has been a confident group throughout.
But wait, it gets better. After pulling stunts like this, Reese actually said she's accepting the role of the bad guy. Accepting? More like embracing it with open arms. It's like she's trying to be the heel the WNBA never asked for. Let's be real for a second. The media didn't make Reese taunt her opponents. They didn't force her to stir up drama. All they did was point their cameras at her antics. If Reese doesn't like what she sees in the mirror, maybe it's time to change the reflection instead of blaming the glass. You know what they say? Actions speak louder than words. And when it comes to Angel Reese, her actions are screaming something that doesn't quite match her claims. Remember when she said she's all about that hustle? Well, let's rewind to her high school days, where NBA legend Sam Cassell had a front row seat to her performance.
She was so lazy in high school.
Cassell, a three-time NBA champ, didn't mince words when he saw young Reese on the court. He straight up called her lazy. Ouch, that's not exactly the glowing review you want from a basketball icon, is it? But hey, maybe Reese was just saving her energy for the big leagues, right? Yeah, she hustles by getting her own missed shots.
Sometimes she'll miss a layup, get the rebound, miss another layup. another team get the ball and she wouldn't run back down court. So seeing her.
Here's the thing. When a respected figure like Cassell drops a truth bomb like that, it sticks. It's not just some random hater talking smack. This is a guy who knows what it takes to make it in pro basketball, and he wasn't impressed. So what does this mean for Reese now? Well, it's a stain on her reputation that she's got to work overtime to erase. Every time she steps on the court, people are going to be wondering, is she really giving it her all? Or is she still that lazy high schooler Cassell called out? Reputations are hard to shake, but actions? Those speak volumes. When Reese claims she has no beef with Caitlin Clark, why does she look like a kid on Christmas morning when Clark gets shoved? Seems like there's more to this story than Reese wants us to believe. Picture this. Caitlin Clark's on the court, doing her thing, when suddenly Kennedy Carter comes out of nowhere and shoves her. A cheap shot, no doubt.
Kennedy Carter now with 12 points off the bench.
But who's that jumping for joy on the sidelines? Oh, it's Angel Reese, celebrating like she just won the lottery. Real classy, right? Now, let's rewind a bit. On her first podcast episode, Reese swore up and down that she had no issues with Clark. No beef, no problem, we're all good here. But actions speak louder than words, and Reese's courtside celebration tells a different story. It's one thing to be competitive, but cheering when a fellow player gets pushed? That's crossing a line. It's not just poor sportsmanship, it's downright hypocritical. How can you claim there's no bad blood when you're practically throwing a party over your rival getting roughed up?
Miss Carter, have you got the chance to reach out to Caitlin?
Hey, man, come on with that.
Relax.
Just when you thought Reese's antics couldn't get more ridiculous, she pulls the harassment card. But here's the thing. Her idea of harassment might make you question if she knows what the word actually means. Picture this. Reese and her Chicago Sky teammates getting off the team bus in DC. A reporter asks them a question regarding the shoving incident. The horror. Suddenly, they're crying, harassment, like it's a get-out-of-jail-free card. Come on, Angel. Is this what passes for crossing the line these days? Let's roll the footage and you decide.
Have you got a chance to reach out to Caitlin? Trinity, have you gotten a chance? The basketball world wants to know if you've gotten a chance to reach out to her.
Let's break it down. At first, they were all up in arms about the reporter's questions. But then, magically, after the video went public, suddenly there were vulgar comments involved. Isn't it funny how their story suddenly changed? Here's the thing. Being a pro athlete means dealing with the media. It's part of the gig, but Reese seems to think she's above it all. Newsflash, Angel. Answering questions isn't harassment, it's called doing your job. If you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. We know watching this video takes some of your time, and we appreciate you. Now back to the action.
Oh, okay,
Two
okay,
truths and a
okay,
lie.
okay, okay.
Two truths and a lie.
Okay.
What we talking about? Let's see.
Reese claims she's just here to play ball, but her actions off the court tell a different story. Remember when athletes let their game do the talking? Well, Reese prefers to let her podcast do the trash talking. Guess which one's getting more attention? Enter Unapologetically Angel, Reese's podcast that's about as subtle as a brick through a window. Instead of focusing on basketball, she's busy stirring up drama with celebrity gossip. Case in point, her interview with Kayla Nicole, Travis Kelce's ex. Real classy, Angel. Nothing says professional athlete like diving into NFL breakup drama, especially when you know that Travis is the new boyfriend of Taylor Swift. That same Taylor Swift that Caitlin Clark's a big fan of. But here's the kicker.
They would spend the rest of their life with they don't bounce back, and just being able to see what you did was just
Thank you.
was amazing.
I
And
appreciate that.
I love that for you.
I think that was my why though, like why I made that video.
Taylor Swift fans side with Caitlin Clark after Angel Reese interviews Travis Kelce ex-girlfriend.
Reese's podcast isn't just a misguided attempt at stardom. It's a calculated move to keep her controversial image alive. She's not interested in improving her game or being a role model. Nope, she'd rather be the WNBA's resident pot stirrer.
We have a special guest today, Show Swoops.
And let's not even get started on lies 8 to 11. Remember the time Reese and her BFF Cheryl Swoops went on that love fest? Let's roll the footage and you spot the lie.
Thought that was your
Black
answer.
people cannot swim.
Listen, you know what's
Damn.
crazy?
What kind of statement is this? You're just inviting people to poke fun at you.
Sometimes I would rather watch the tunnel fits than watch some of the games. Sorry. Because, yeah.
While Swoops is making a point here that some games are really bad. However, her and Reese are missing the point. Stop focusing on the runway and actually focus on great basketball.
Asia, we want to give you your flowers
Let's
because
do.
the media did not do their big one about giving you your flowers. When people try to dim her light, she still always shines through.
Since when did people dim Asia Wilson's spotlight? If anything, she's always looking for the light. Always about her and privilege.
So points, we're going to go points first. Scoring.
Okay.
Now,
Now, I got no. I mean, you gotta go with Asia because she just broke the record.
Yeah, period.
Asia's a bucket. Kelsey Mitchell is a bucket to me.
Okay.
When you talk about just scoring.
Okay.
And I got Enrique.
Period.
How can you talk about point leaders without Caitlin Clark? She's literally in the top 3 post-Olympics and 7th overall in the season. It's like she didn't exist. Let's be real. This podcast isn't about connecting with fans or sharing insights about basketball. It's about keeping Angel Reese in the spotlight no matter the cost. And the cost? Well, it might just be her credibility as a serious athlete. We just covered 4 lies in one podcast episode, which brings us to 11. Maybe she's already planning her post-playing career this early. Reese's pursuit of attention doesn't stop when she steps on the court. In fact, that's where things get really interesting. What happens when a player's actions speak louder than their words? Just ask Caitlin Clark about Reese's idea of clean basketball. On June 16th, during a game against the Indiana Fever, Reese decided to show us all her unique interpretation of making a play on the ball. Spoiler alert, it involved a flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark that had everyone questioning Reese's definition of basketball. Let's roll the tape, shall we? The video evidence is pretty damning. Reese's play on the ball looked more like a wrestling move than anything you'd see in a WNBA game. And after the game, Reese had the audacity to claim she was just making a play on the ball. Really, Angel? Is that what we're calling it now? But wait, it gets better. Reese didn't stop there. Here's lie number 13. She went on to suggest that certain players get special treatment.
I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special whistle.
Talk about deflection. Maybe instead of pointing fingers, Reese should focus on keeping her hands to herself on the court. From on-court antics to off-court fibs, Reese is on a roll. But her latest claim? It's got people scratching their heads harder than a ref trying to figure out one of her clean plays. Did Reese just rewrite the WNBA draft rulebook? Or is she living in her own reality show?
Angel Reese is not happy about it either. She dropped a long tweet that said, quote, "You had a tough job. All the crazy circumstances that we went through this year, and when your back was against the wall, you always believed. I came to Chicago because of you. You were an unsung hero in my life. We built a relationship in a short amount of time that will last forever. You didn't deserve this, but I can't thank you enough. I love you, Teaspoon."
Looks like Angel Reese thinks she's playing fantasy basketball in real life. During her tribute to Teresa Weatherspoon, Reese claimed the coach was the reason she decided to go to Chicago. Wait, what? Last time we checked, the WNBA draft wasn't a choose-your-own-adventure book. Here's a quick reality check for Reese. She was drafted by Chicago as the 7th overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. That's right, drafted. As in, she didn't have a choice. It's not like she was browsing team catalogs and thought, Chicago looks nice this time of year. This isn't just a slip of the tongue, folks. It's a full-on faceplant into the realm of make-believe. Does Reese not understand how the WNBA draft works? Or is she trying to rewrite history to make herself look more desirable? Reese's fantasy draft saga continues, and it's wilder than a March Madness bracket. She claims teams are calling her up, crying over their missed opportunity. But here's the million-dollar question. If these teams wanted her so badly, why didn't they just draft her in the first place?
Do you know, players on other teams say I wish we drafted you?
Really?
Yes. Like teams that have drafted that were above me, that the players that got drafted above, and it was nothing against their rookies that got drafted, but they were like, I wish we were teammates. I wish we drafted you.
According to Reese, teams that didn't draft her are now expressing regret. Let's break this down. Reese was picked 7th overall by the Chicago Sky. That means 6 teams had the chance to snag her and said, "Now we're good." But now they're supposedly calling her to say, "Oops, our bad." Come on. Here's a reality check. NBA nor WNBA teams don't call up players they passed on to apologize. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. But in Reese's world, she's apparently such a hot commodity that teams are lining up to grovel at her feet. Let's not forget that the Chicago Sky, her own team, picked Camila Cardoso with the 3rd pick instead of her. Guess they didn't get the memo about Reese being the must-have player of the draft.
Honestly, don't have an answer for you, but this was embarrassing. So I really hope we figure out what was wrong and go back to the court tomorrow, practice, or do whatever we gotta do and fix it for our next road game.
While Reese didn't get the draft spot she wanted, she's still putting up impressive numbers. Or is she? The truth behind her double-doubles and rebounding records might make you question everything you thought you knew about basketball stats. Let's talk about Reese's so-called legit stats. Sure, on paper, those double-doubles look nice, but dig a little deeper, and you'll find a lot of padding and lying. We're not just talking about a few extra rebounds here and there. We're talking about a whole strategy of stat inflation that would make even Wall Street blush. Here's the deal. Reese has been accused of missing her own shots on purpose just to grab the rebound. That's right, she's pulling a miss and fetch to pump up those numbers.
Angel Reese, great. But her team, after that, they were, and you can't say they're not stat padding because the game against the Fever, all the starters were out and Angel Reese was still in, and so she could get her double-double, right?
Now we wonder, is she doing this on purpose, or is she really that bad? The stats don't lie. Did you know that Reese holds the notorious record of the worst conversion rate on layups in WNBA history? At shots within 5 feet from the ring, Reese only converts 43.8% of her attempts. That means the other 6 are missed, and most likely secured by her as rebounds. No wonder she has so many rebounds. And guess what? Her coach was in on it, making sure she hit her numbers even in garbage time.
This is the very definition of stat padding. You are down by 22 points, and you've got the Fever's bench player, bench player, bench player, bench player, bench player, playing against bench player, bench player, bench player, bench player, starter, just so that she can get her double-double.
And it's not just fans calling her out. The Chicago Sky's locker room is messier than a toddler's playroom, all thanks to this obsession with personal stats over team success. Her previous teammate, Marina Mabrey, did not hold back when she finally got traded to the Connecticut Sun.
There's a level of discipline and a level of professionality here where, the players just have to worry about playing basketball. A lot of things don't get down to the players, and I think that's really good. Obviously the players here are very experienced and they want to keep a good environment, and they make sure that they kind of hold people accountable for that.
It's creating a culture where players care more about their own numbers than winning games. Guess what, Angel? Basketball's a team sport, not a one-woman show. You'd think after all that stat inflation, Reese would have enough hot air to float right to the top of the rookie rankings. But in a world where Caitlin Clark exists, is Reese's Rookie of the Year claim just another tall tale in her growing list of lies?
All right, cool. I could just hoop. So I don't know when it started to just break out where I was just in Rookie of the Year conversations. I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh my God.
Let's break it down. While Reese is busy patting herself on the back, Caitlin Clark's out there making history. We're talking 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game, leading the league in assists and 3-pointers. And this is just the beginning. She broke 62 records on her freshman year after all. And the fans, they can't get enough of Clark. So yeah, you're fibbing when you say you even had a shot at Rookie of the Year. Reese isn't even the best rookie on her own team. Camila Cardoso's been showing up and showing out, making Reese's claims look more like wishful thinking than reality. Come on, Angel. When you're not even the standout rookie in your own locker room, maybe it's time to dial back the self-hype. And the biggest lie of them all, someone had the audacity to go rogue and vote for you. What a shame.
Hats off to Caitlin. Should have been unanimous, but I'm just going to stop there.
No, I'm going to pick it up.
Please.
Because she should have been a unanimous Rookie of the Year.
Clark's out there changing the game, while Reese is, well, she's certainly changing something. Her story, maybe? Let's face it, folks. Angel Reese's antics aren't just hurting her reputation. They're dragging the whole WNBA down with her. While she's busy stirring up drama, players like Caitlin Clark are out there showing what real basketball is all about. Integrity, skill, and sportsmanship. That's the real MVP combo.
With the spotlight on her at a very young age, fame is hitting this young lady's life. And very, very rarely did I see a misstep or something that I wouldn't want to show my daughter. Literally every step of the way, it's just like, watch her, watch how she plays, watch how she handles her business.
Think about it. Clark's breaking records, filling seats, and making fans fall in love with the game all over again. Meanwhile, Reese is, well, she's making headlines, but for all the wrong reasons. It's like comparing a highlight reel to a blooper reel. Here's the bottom line. The WNBA needs more Clarks and fewer Reeses. It's time for fans to step up and show some love to the players who are doing it right. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about the stats. It's about being a role model both on and off the court. Do you agree? Let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen and we will see you in the next one.